We've got LG on the PC. I've got a topic for you today, and we've been working on presenting this to you because so many of you have been with me for less than a year. By show of hands, and how many people have been with me less than a year? And there's a lot of you, and we've not had a conversation about why we chose a personal brand. You ever notice that? Like, it's in my name, right? It's the Rick Fuller team. And why did we do that? And initially it kind of sounds weird or even egotistical, like this, he just wants his name everywhere. Well, it has nothing to do with that. And some of you, we've sat down in great detail and talked about why we chose a personal brand versus a corporate brand. And so today I want to walk you through some of that, take you maybe a little on a memory lane of when we first started and why we chose to go in that direction and what that means for you as a team member, okay? What that means for you as a team member. So let's start with this. What is a personal brand versus a corporate brand? You notice in real estate, especially in the Bay Area, we're a real estate brokerage and all the other brokerages run from a corporate brand. Do you realize that? Now you could list them off. It could be Berkshire Hathaway, it could be Realty One, it could be Main Street Realty, it could be Keller Williams, it could be any number of corporate brands, but they all run with a corporate brand. And outside of real estate, especially in the finance industry, you'll notice that many of them have chosen the direction of a personal brand. Edward Jones, it's a personal brand, right? It's a person, embodied in a person. Morgan Stanley, how about Charles Schwab, right? So we see that. How about outside of actually finance, we look at a company like Dave Ramsey. Do you know Dave Ramsey? His company is not Dave Ramsey. Audie, you know what his company's called?
I think it's Lampo.
It's Lampo.
I was going to say Harpo, but that's Oprah.
The company name is Lampo, but the personal brand is Dave Ramsey. Here's what we found. We found that when somebody was thinking about buying or selling a home, that they were not interested in the brokerage or the corporation. They really had no interest in contacting Keller Williams or Berkshire Hathaway or any of these other companies, Realty One. They wanted an agent. And you know that, right? I mean, if you were to think about, and we would do that with attorneys too, or CPAs, you probably don't hire the firm, you're looking for that agent, right? It's that agent, that CPA that you work with, or that attorney that you work with. And so we began to explore very early on a personal brand. And actually, it didn't have to be my name. And Wendy, you were in the room. And when we decided to move in the direction of a personal brand, Wendy's been with me for about almost going on 10 years. And we actually looked at making the team the Wendy Share team. And we had another team member there, do you remember this? And we looked at making it the Linder Spencer team. Because we believed in the personal brand, because people were not interested in hiring a brokerage. They were looking for a specific agent. And what would happen is online, when we competed with a personal brand, we got the click, we got the call. Because when online our competitors showed up, the consumer would have to go to the competitor's website and then find the agent that they wanted to work with. And there was probably 3, 4, maybe 5 clicks later before they ever found that particular agent. And what we realized is that if we could give them a personal brand right from the start, that they would contact us. And Amazon did the same thing. Have anyone ever used Amazon's one-click? You know when they rolled out Amazon's one-click, not only did it make it easier for you to purchase, but people purchased more through Amazon one-click. Did you know that? Because when you make it easier for the consumer to do business, they'll do more of it, okay? So what we realized is, how do we make it easier for the consumer to get right to what they were looking for? And they were looking for a personal brand. So what is a personal brand? It operates on a name. It's not about me. It has to do with it having a personal brand. In some sense, I've become kind of only the mascot of the team. Now, if you take it a step further, when we first did this and operated from a personal brand, social media was not that big. We started this 9-10 years ago, and social media didn't have a strong presence. Now, if you think about it, is social media, who do you follow? Do you follow people or do you follow corporations?
People.
You follow people, right? And you might, if you're interested in Tesla, you may not follow Tesla, but you might follow who? Elon Musk. So you would likely want to hear from a person, not a corporation. And what we found is that gave us a voice on social media. Let's take it a step further. Zillow then became dominant in the market, which we're still working with today. Zillow is our #1 ad spend. We're spending $8,500 a month combined with our efforts with Supreme Lending. We got a couple of our Supreme Lending partners here today. We're spending $8,500 a month with them. And notice that they don't advertise brokerages, do they? They advertise agents. And so we realized that very early on, that by operating with a personal brand, we could have what I call a synergy and a credibility. Let me give you an example. If, and Wendy and I have been working together, so I'll use her as an example. If Wendy and I did not operate together as a personal brand on a real estate team, maybe Wendy would have, over the course of a year, how many homes did you sell last year?
28, I think.
28. And how many Zillow reviews do you have?
I have 43.
43. And so if Wendy and I just operated exclusively, or as I call it, a solo agent, what would happen? Wendy would advertise on Zillow, and she'd have 28 sales, 40 plus reviews. Maybe I have another 28 sales and 40 reviews, and we become very equal online, yes? But the moment we work together, we have over 80 reviews and over 40 sales. Are you following this? Now multiply this synergy amongst this entire room. Look around. So what then happens is our advertising dollars have a better return on investment. Do you see that? Because now we have, well, hundreds of reviews, hundreds of sales over the course of the year, and over 1,000 closed sales on Zillow as of today. So the personal brand, we'll go to the next slide, Lorenzo, made a lot of sense from the standpoint not of ego or arrogance or even simply branding one person. What it was really about, it was a lead generation thing. It was a business decision to move forward because we knew that the consumer wanted more of a direct click directly to an agent. And we knew that if we can generate customers, first they become contacts and then they become customers, then it could help us provide opportunities for those in the room. By show of hands, how many people in this room have received an opportunity from concierge? So almost everyone in the room has had an opportunity from concierge, and that's how we're able to create that, through a personal brand. Take it one step further, we look at things like Yelp or even Google My Business, that people weren't interested in the corporation, they really wanted the agent to be, they were looking for an agent. So by giving them a point of contact and a personal brand, we just created more conversations with buyers and sellers than we otherwise would if we operated from an ABC Realty. Does this make sense? Now, some of you, I've had this conversation with you kind of individually but as our team has grown, I realized I've not had this conversation with a lot of you, like, why did we make that decision? So let's kind of take it a step further. When you look at one of the benefits to having a personal brand is what I call economy of scale. Now, do you remember in the days where we run a newspaper ad? How many people here have ever run a newspaper ad? Okay, a couple of us have run a newspaper ad.
Don't even want to say.
I'll use the newspaper ad as a visual example, although we don't run a newspaper ad. But I want you to kind of see this. If I'm a solo agent, I'm operating by myself, without the team, I might have one listing. And I run an ad for that one listing. And Linda, Michael, you've run ads before. Those ads were pretty expensive, right? And it's not unreasonable to think that ad was $1,000 for that one ad, right? I mean, I remember one time we were spending $21,000 in real estate ads. That sold $1,000. So that one property to advertise, how much did it cost me per property? $1,000, right? I mean, I know this is not a math class. It's pretty simple. So now we work together as a team. And if you're a listing specialist, raise your hand. So we have several listing specialists. So each of them have several listings. So instead of advertising one property, now we advertise in that same ad space, 10 properties. So now what does that cost me? I know it's not a math class, but help me out here. $100 per property, right? $1,000 and $100 per property. So the cost per advertising per property drops significantly when we began to operate as a real estate team. Now here's the other interesting thing. If I had one property, and you think about the various properties, even in the Bay Area, from condos, townhomes, single-family homes, estates, we have properties that are in a price point of $150,000 in a condo, all the way up to 1.2, 1.5 million, just right here in the East County. Each property has a buyer pool, yes? Like each property has an interested buyer, and the buyer that's looking for a $250,000 property probably isn't looking for that 1.25 million home. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So by taking 10 properties in that ad, I don't just advertise to one buyer pool, do I? I advertise to 10 buyer pools. By advertising to 10 buyer pools, by operating together, creating synergy, we were able to produce a lot more customers, a lot more opportunities. Now last week, we just ran the numbers. I'm putting you on the spot, Lorenzo. How many customers called in as a result of the efforts that I've been talking about?
From last week, it was 67.
We had 67 customers that called in through Concierge, and then Concierge assigns those to our team members, and here's how they sign them. They sign them based on conversion, okay? Meaning that who's most likely to convert that client. Eileen's here in the front row, and she receives a lot of our Concord opportunities because you live in Concord. And the likelihood of when she goes on a buyer appointment and says, you live in Concord, or you want to buy in Concord, I live in Concord, I want to buy in Concord, there's an immediate connection. And each of you have that in Concierge. And maybe the connection isn't where you live. Maybe it's that you speak Spanish and they speak Spanish. Maybe it's that you're really good, you like texting a lot, and they're a texter. Maybe that you just connect with them because your kids go to that school and their kids go to that. So our concierge is trying to make those determinations all over a phone call to be able to assign those opportunities. And 66 of those came in this past week that then they worked to assign those as an appointment. So how does a personal brand benefit our team, our team members? How does it benefit you? And I want you to think about the personal brand benefits you with credibility. So as a solo agent, I would call it you have I business. But being a part of a team, you have we business. So instead of using things like have you ever been asked how many homes you've sold? Raise your hand if you have. So instead of you saying, well, especially if you're new to the team, I've sold 1 or 2 or 3, or I haven't sold a home yet, you're going to be able to harness, well, we have sold a lot of homes. Matter of fact, we've sold more homes than anyone else in the San Francisco Bay Area and Sacramento County, according to Zillow. When somebody asks you how many reviews do you have, rather than being I-centric or I-focused, we want you to be we-focused, because we have nearly 1,000 5-star reviews amongst all of us. When somebody says, who are you endorsed by? We are endorsed by Dave Ramsey, and the power of harnessing that team gives you credibility. See, I'm convinced, remember, 77% of people do business by relationship. Do you remember that? Do you want to know where business is done? It's done through relationships. I'm convinced that most of the relationships that you have, especially if you're new to the business, they know you and they like you. And those are 2 critical points. But they don't yet trust you. The we that we're bringing to the equation gives you an element of trust. You may only be in the business this might be your first year. But collectively, we have over 100 years of combined real estate experience, right? Collectively, we have multiple offices that we can serve our clients. So the team, by moving from an I perception to a we perception, gives you the credibility that we need in order for you to be a trusted source for your sphere of influence, or what I like to call your local economist. Within your sphere of influence, when people think of real estate, they must think of you. It's as simple as that. We make it very complicated by watching all these but it's as simple as do enough people when they think of real estate think of you. If we can give you that credibility, by doing open houses, imagine what happens every week when you're doing an open house, and let's say Saturday and Sunday every week you're on Facebook Live and you say, hey, I'm now at 123 Main Street. Later on that afternoon, I'm now at 125 Main Street. Later on, Sunday, I'm now at 127 Main Street, 129 Main Street, right? And you're constantly promoting property. You begin to establish what? Credibility. That credibility gives you a trust with your sphere of influence. Now for you, having the lead like an Eileen, a Danielle, Julie, Brian, I'm missing a couple of others too, Megan, by having a lead, they'll be able to help you make sure the I's are dotted and T's are crossed so that you can properly serve your clients. So a personal brand has a significant benefit to our team members when we use the words we, rather than I. And if we can move away from the I concept and we can work together as a team, that synergy will provide us more opportunities than what we could ever receive by ourselves. Does this make sense?
Yes.
So let me take it to the next slide, Lorenzo. So what should you do with a personal brand? Talk about the team. Talk about the credibility of the team. Talk about the offices of the team. Talk about the sales of the team. Talk about the properties of the team. And you say, well, I don't have any properties of my own. I don't have any listings. That's okay. We have listings. We have opportunities. We have open houses. Talk about that. It's not an I, it's a we. How else can you benefit from the personal brand? Talk about some of the reviews online. People won't eat at a restaurant anymore without looking at reviews. They won't stay at a hotel without looking at reviews. Talk about our nearly 1,000 5-star reviews online. This can provide you some benefit with a personal brand so that you can leverage that to build that credibility with your sphere of influence. Let me take it one step further. Next slide. So how do you use the personal brand? I'm gonna have Christina come forward, and she's gonna roll out something that we've been working on. And Audie, we've been working on this now for what? Months?
Months, yeah.
6 months?
I'm not even quite sure. It's been a while.
So what we want to do,
It's a lifetime.
and we've been making modifications. We want to give you the tools and resources so that you can speak of the brand, but also not disparage the brand. I left my previous real estate brokerage because the same person that had the name tag that I did was going on a list. They did not put near the amount of effort, the attention, and the focus in the industry, and it diluted that corporate brand. We built a team brand so that we could keep our standards high. And so we're going to ask you not only to know this and be able to use this style guide that we're going to be sharing with you today, but we're going to tell you don't dilute it. Don't change colors, don't change fonts, don't change logos. Christina, talk about what we have. Go ahead and stand right here so it can be recorded.
Okay.
And Christina's going to share with you what we've done to make this a lot easier for you.
Okay, so my job is to be a marketing specialist, and I once had a mentor say that the way we look is a frame and who we are is the picture. And so the frame has to complement the picture. We're your frame. The marketing department is here to make you look good. That's my job, it's you. You guys are on the front line, and you guys are amazing, and I want people to see how incredible each one of you are. And so that's why we have this marketing and branding guide that we're going to show you. So next slide. So this is your 10-minute college class on marketing and branding. So what is the difference between the two? Because a lot of times these two words and terms are used interchangeably. So marketing is building a company awareness to potential clients. The brand is who you are. And so the inside has to match the outside. Our marketing has to match who we are, what our purpose is, what our goals are, what our mission is. And so we're combining the two to make us look as polished and as professional and reliable and integrity. Everything has to be in one package. And so we're creating our package so that way we're all unified across the board. And these are popular companies that all of you have seen, and that all evoke an image. They all evoke a word that you just see Disney and you think of princesses and magic, and you just see that word and you picture yourself at Disneyland. All of those warm fuzzies. Tesla has excitement and innovation. Competence goes with Google and cybersecurity. Sophistication, my favorite, Tiffany's. My 20-year anniversary is coming up, so if my husband's watching, we'll put that note in there. Ruggedness, Timberland, Jeep. So everyone has an identity. You just see the logo and you know exactly who they are. When they see our logo, they have to know that it doesn't matter if you're a new agent or if you've been in the business 20 years, you're a Rick Fuller agent, you know what you're doing and you're gonna get the job done and you're gonna put them first. And this is an example of bad branding and bad marketing. Hopefully none of you know these people. They're like from the Midwest, so not that anything's wrong with that. Would you hire one of these agents? Why or why not? I mean, some of them, like, that looks like they went to Lowe's and got like the stickers of numbers and things. Versus, next one, us. Who would you choose? Us. Okay, next. And so just echoing what Rick was saying, personal branding, you see these logos and you instantly feel like we talked about Disney, Jeep, all of that. You instantly identify them. So when someone drives down the street and they see our signs, they see our social media posts, they see what you post, we're all on the same page. They know they're getting the best of the best. And so why is branding important for the Rick Fuller team? It shares our identity of quality, service, community, experience, and expertise, which each one of you have. It benefits all of our team. The marketing specialists, we're all working behind the scenes to make the buying and listing agents look good. We're doing our job so you can do yours. And so you guys are awesome, like I said, so we're gonna do our best to make you look as awesome as you are. And whether you're brand new to real estate or if you just joined the team, you already have a reputation that puts you ahead of the competition. And next. So how do we create a cohesive company brand? I am so glad you asked. We have a brand style guide that Ati is putting online. So all of our logos, pictures, anything you could need, bumpers to our videos. So let's say, as Rick said, you know, you're out, it's a Saturday, you're doing an open house. If you want to have the bumpers that we have, that has like the nice little music and the team logo, you can have those, our Zillow branding logo, all of that, you guys are going to have access to, so that way you guys can look the best that you can and you have access to everything that we've created. Oh no, is this going to create more work for me? Opposite, no way. It's going to make your life easier because we are creating everything for you and all you have to do is plug in your information. So, you know, most people aren't graphic design artists. Most people aren't content creators. You don't have to be. You guys are great at selling and listing and buying houses. That's what you guys are great at. So we're going to do our job to make your job a lot easier. So we have our fonts already created, logos, we have phone message scripts, email signature templates, social media ideas, which a lot of you guys are sharing, I've noticed, thank you. Pre-made posts and handouts, and a lot more. So that way you have all the tools you need. And if you think of something that you need and we don't have, contact us. You have my email. We'll create it for you. We'll put it online because if you need it, somebody else probably does too. And so we'll be happy to create whatever you need and then let other people have access to it also. And this is where Auntie comes in.
So this is some of the things that we have available right now. So that we do have a tech deck that we're working with. And actually it's just a template where the colors and the bars, they all stay where they are. You just drop in your picture. So you drop in the picture of the property, you drop in your own headshot, and then you just change all the information with your DRE number, your phone number, and your email address and things of that nature. Let's see, Christina actually did create this one, and this was basically a property flyer that we put out there for the properties that you have that may not have like the best looking inside. And so we just have one solid picture of the outside and then we just highlight all of the great things that there are to have in that property, and do like a little blurb of the property itself. So all of these templates will be available. And we are working on more templates for social media and things of that nature so that it's across the board, everything looks the same. We don't want you to have to worry about whether or not you are following the rules and that you're staying within the rules that we have set forth in the style guide. And so that's why these templates are in existence.
And this is going to be cumulative, so this is our one of a series of mini presentations, just so you can see what we're creating for you to use. And this is going to be evolving also depending on where we go and how the market changes and things like that. So again, you guys are on the front lines and we're behind the computers. So if you have ideas, we would love to hear them because obviously, like Rick says, we're a team. And so we need your input so that way we can help you achieve your goals.
Good job.
Christina, Adi, thank you very much. They have worked hard. Stay up here, Christina. So we want to do really both and. In other words, we want to give you the ability to have photos, logos, video bumpers that you can use for your videos, in addition to the posts that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So Christina puts out a post, how often?
I post every single day, but in the team, I usually create graphics and do that every Monday, and then I let you guys know, and a lot of you have been amazing at sharing it, and I always give you sample text because it can be hard going, what am I supposed to say, or what's a good hook for this? And so I always put sample text and the image, and you guys have been awesome about sharing that.
One of the pieces that you're going to see, and this is very relevant for our Elk Grove office and those that are on the call, the virtual call, you're going to see a lot of discussion about the Great Migration from Sacramento, from San Francisco Bay Area to Sacramento. We feel that we're uniquely positioned for many of you to help serve and sell a property here in the Bay Area while we help them and serve them in the Sacramento area as well. And when I say greater Sacramento, I'm referring to the greater Sacramento, Roseville, El Dorado Hills, Folsom, and we're uniquely positioned to be one team in multiple locations. So you're going to see a lot of posts, a lot of videos, because we believe that that's an opportunity for us and that we're uniquely positioned to do that. I don't know of any other real estate team that has a presence in both the Bay and the greater Sacramento area. And a lot of people are making that move. We've talked about that time and time again. I spoke significantly about that on the last virtual call, that there's no greater destination of Bay Area residents than that Sacramento area. So we have the style guide for you. So all of those things are available for your download, but then you'll also continue to have Christina's post. Christina, also share what we're doing with our interviews. And we've been doing interviews on a regular basis. Several of you have participated in that.
So once a week, I have been contacting various members of the team, and Rick and I are going to interview you on a Zoom call, and it has a twofold purpose. The first one is to promote you. So Rick is going to say how reliable, professional, personable, how wonderful you are as a realtor. And then the second purpose is to grow our team and to encourage people to join our school. And then I post it online, I tag you, and then go. Share it with your SOI, and our whole purpose is to make you look good. And girl, you look good.
And so that's designed to build that credibility. We can do a lot more together than we could ever do by ourselves.